Latin present indicative of third and third-io verbs. Third conjugation and third-io verbs are very similar. Unlike first, second, and fourth conjugation verbs, which have strong long vowels, they have a weak changeable vowel before their personal endings. Let's look at third conjugation verbs first. The vowel before their personal endings changes according to what comes after it. Usually it's a short I. Before O it disappears. Before N it is U. And before R it is short E. That's why the infinitive has a short E, for instance. When you say ago agere, that short E in agere is there because that E is followed by an R. And under those circumstances, the stem vowel at the end of the verb stem expresses itself as an E. For the time being, let's represent the present stem of third conjugation verbs with a V, a capital V at the end of their stem, indicating a weak vowel. So, for instance, ago, agri, egi, octus gives us the stem agvi, where this V represents a weak vowel. Dico, dicri, dixi, dictus gives dicvi. The V is the weak vowel. We can only say what form the V will take when we add the personal ending, because its final form is determined by what follows it. That will be the personal ending. Do remember that the passive infinitive of third conjugation verbs in long I, it has no R, which is annoying. Most present infinitives have an R in them. The passive infinitives of third conjugation verbs, and for that matter third-io verbs, is just long I. Examples. The passive infinitive of ago is agi, which means to be driven. And the infinitive of the deponent verb loquor is loqui. Loqui means to speak. That's the infinitive of loquor, which means I speak. And because it's a third conjugation verb, the infinitive is going to end in a long I because it's a deponent verb, and the infinitive ending passive in deponent verbs of the third conjugation is long I. So let's look at some stems. Ago will give us agvi, there's that weak vowel. Dico will give us dikvi, that's that weak vowel. And loquor will give us lokvi, which is, again, that weak vowel. To form the present tense, we just have to add appropriate personal endings to the present stem and make appropriate changes to the weak vowel. These are the active endings, right? And these are the passive endings. The passive endings, of course, are used for, the passive forms are used for deponent verbs, so they're going to use the same passive endings. By the way, in the first person singular here, only O and OR are used. M and R are not used in the present indicative. They're used elsewhere in the verbal system in Latin, but not in the present indicative for regular verbs. So we won't have to worry about M and R, just adding O and R when we're adding personal endings. Here's an example of ago, agri, egi, octus. Here we have the stem, agvi. When we add the personal ending O, we went with ago, because, as was said before, the vowel is lost before O. Now, what we normally do is just add a short I, or short I as the stem vowel, because that's normally what it is. And if you have no reason to do otherwise, you just use a short I, and that's exactly what happens in the second person singular, agus, right? Same thing happens in agit, where the vowel is just a short I. Same thing happens in agimus, and the same thing happens in agitus, right? In all these situations here, we just use a short I. But in the case of agunt, this is the third person plural, this vowel expresses itself as a U before N. So it becomes agunt. So far we have seen that usually the vowel is a short I, but it will disappear before O, and it expresses itself as a U before NT. Or well, I should say before N in general. Here's the passive of ago, agri, egi, octus. The stem agvi plus or, the personal ending, goes to agor. Again, the vowel is lost before O. The stem agvi plus ris, the second person singular personal ending, goes to agaris. That's because the vowel is short E before R. The vowel is I before tur, agitur. The vowel is I before mor, agimor. The vowel is I before mini, agimini. But again, the vowel is U before the N of untur, so we get aguntur. Here's an example of the deponent verb loquor, which is going to behave just like the passive agor. So we wind up with lokvi plus or goes to loquor. Lokvi plus ris goes to loquaris. Again, before an R, this vowel is a short E. Then we have loquitur, loquimor, loquimini, and finally loquuntur. Again, the vowel becomes U before N of untur, loquuntur. And notice that double U there. That always looks funny to English speakers, but it's correct. 3rd-io conjugation verbs conjugate almost exactly the same as third conjugation verbs. The only difference is that there is an I sound before the V, that weak vowel. Usually this I is lost completely. You usually don't see it. However, it is expressed before O and before U, which are sounds far away from I. If you say the I sound in Latin, E, that's right in the front of your mouth, E, whereas O and U are in the back of your mouth. So what happens is that there's this little I that's waiting to pop out, and it only pops out when like the vowel of the ending is way far away from it, right? If the vowel in the ending is close to it, it doesn't appear. We'll represent the stem of such a verb like this. Copy, I guess. Copio, copy, capi, coptus. This is the weak vowel, as in the third conjugation verbs. And then this is that little I that is waiting to pop out whenever it can at the end of these 3rd-io verbs. So for the verb facio, the stem is faci. With that faci, here's that little I waiting to pop out, and there's the weak vowel. For the verb inicio, here is that weak vowel, and here's a little I waiting to pop out. And for a deponent verb like patior, here's the weak vowel at the end of the stem, and here's that little I waiting to pop out. So here's an example of copio, copri, capi, coptus, the 3rd-io verb. This stem, cop plus the I plus the weak vowel plus O, goes to copio. The vowel was lost, of course, before O, but the I is expressed before O because it's so far away from O, so we went with copio. Then we have copis. Remember, the vowel is normally a short I. The I is not expressed because I and I are the same sound. Copit, same thing. Copimus, same thing. Copitus, the same thing. But then copiunt. Again, the vowel becomes a U before N, just like with normal third conjugation verbs. And the I is expressed because the I is far away from U, so it suddenly can pop out and reveal itself. Here's the passive of copio, copri, capi, coptus. It goes like this. Copior. Again, the weak vowel is lost before the or ending. This vowel is lost. but the I is expressed before the O. Copperas, here, in copperas, the E is close enough to the I that the I doesn't express itself. So the I is not expressed, okay? In copitur, the I is not expressed. In copimur, the I is not expressed. In copimini, that hidden I is not expressed. But in copiuntur, it is, because this little I here winds up being followed by a U. The vowel here becomes a U, and so the I expresses itself as copiuntur. Pati or pati passus sum is going to behave just like the passive of copior. So we have patior, the weak vowel is lost, but the I expresses itself. Patris, okay. Notice how in patris this weak vowel expresses itself as an E, right, before the R, but the I doesn't express itself because the E is too close to I in the mouth. It's right next to it, really. Then we have patitur, right, where the vowel expresses itself as short I and I is not expressed. Same with patimur. Same with patimini. But then we have patiuntur, where the vowel becomes U and then the I can express itself before it. That is the end. Thank you very much.